Jesus taught us that during the Last Supper when he washed the feet of his disciples, that living for God requires sacrifice.
Hello, welcome to Match or Be the Original. On this channel we share content of short videos, prophetic moments, sermons to enrich your life spiritually, physically, economically, and financially. If today is your first time coming across this video, like, comment and subscribe to join the awesome family we are building.
And service. Every Christian is called to service. Each one of us, we are called to serve God and to serve people. And Jesus actually said the way to greatness is in service. And he taught us that, the natural thing about service is that those who are low serve those who are high. And that is natural. I mean, if you don't have much, you're going to serve a lot. You're going to serve people. But Jesus also told us that those who are high should also serve those who are low. So it's a balance there. The low serve the high serves the low serves the low, the high serves the high. Everybody serves. In Christianity, everybody serves.
For example, we have half a million members. And I can never personally touch them. We have 7 services on Sunday, but even by having 7 services, we can't even accommodate more than half of our members. Then how can I touch them? How could they have body ministries? When they need prayer, who pray for them? When they need help, who could help them? When they become sick, who would visit them? Christian does not only need the sermon, they need a close fellowship and care. They want to have careful fellowship. And they want to share spiritual things and material things. And they want to have love. They want to really open their heart to each other. If you don't have a caring service and sharing service and loving service, then your Christians are going to fade away. And how could we carry out that kind of ministry? If you ever go into the cell system, then each area has their own cell unit. And each cell is consisted of 10 to sometimes 20 families. But the mother church appoints cell leader, assistant cell leader, and treasurer. And so the cell leader is constantly looking out to find out how their Christians are faring. And if any of them become sick, or any of them have trouble in their home, right away, cell leader is supposed to go and pray for them and encourage them, and report right away to the district leaders, the licensed ministers. So licensed ministers right away go there and take good care of them. So to carry out constant body ministries, without serving the cell leaders, you can't even get in touch with the cell members. This is not only for the means of evangelism. Cell unit is means to keep your existing Christian in your fold. Many people, they come to church, they receive wonderful message, and they leave the church, and they wouldn't come back. But through cell system, once they get coached through this cobweb of love, then even though they don't like to come to church, since cell leader is constantly calling them by telephone or visiting them, and cell members begin to have meetings from house to house and encourage each other, that there will be no way for them to leave the church. And human beings, they can't live alone. They are social animals. They should have a social fellowship. Especially when they become Christian, they leave all the social fellowship, sinful fellowship, and they are alone. And then right away they need to be joined to the new fellowship. And when you belong to the Christian fellowship, then you can be encouraged mutually, and your spiritual life can be nurtured by existing Christians. They can share their experience, they can care, and they can love each other, and by that their faith can be kept high level. So it is absolutely necessary thing to have a cell system in your church so that they may have fellowship and grow. Right now we have about 43,000 cell units. And approximately about 50,000 cell leaders are very busy working among them. And since these cell leaders, they are in charge of 5 to 10 to 20 families. And above them, we appoint licensed ministers. So the licensed ministers, they are behind cell leaders, constantly encouraging them, motivating them, and helping them. So cell leaders are very, very busy taking care of the existing Christians. So constantly, cell leaders take care of those existing Christians to stay in the fellowship, to be encouraged, to be taken care of, to be loved, to be cared. And through cell system, we are not only taking care of their spiritual need, but we are meeting their physical need too. Well, in Korea right now, we don't have absolute poverty. We can't find those families who don't have food, clothes, or something like that. But when we had a flood here in Seoul last year, whole section was flooded, and people left their home, and they went to the school and public buildings, and they lost almost everything. But as for my Christian, even though they had left their homes under flood, but they never went to school or public the buildings, because surrounding cell system right away absorbed all of them. When they were suffering, surrounding cell system opened their home, and each of cell members opened their house and accepted all those Christians who were suffering, and supplied the food and lodging places, and supplied all the clothes, medical care. So our people, they felt such comforted and cared by the Mother Church that they were so pleased to be belonging to this church. And even unbelievers, they said, look at that church, how wonderfully loved among themselves. And we supplied all of their need. Then, when the flood receded, then surrounding cell members went, and together they cleansed the house and repaired the buildings and helped to have a laundry. And so we not only take care of each other spiritually, but we take care of each other materially also. And if any member becomes sick, then surrounding cell members would go and pray for them, and also help them to have a clean house, and help them cooking for their meals. And when they have funeral, then cell members in turn go and stay all night helping them. So this is a wonderful body ministry, wonderful fellowship. And so if you have a strong cell system, then you are going to have a strong church, because they are going to be bound by the rope of love to your church. Because you can't bind Christian by any outward force, because we don't have any policeman, MP, or soldier to enforce them to stay in our church. We can only force them to stay in our local church by the love. And if you can't have strong rope of love, then you can't bind them to your church. Many churches, they are constantly having new Christians coming in, but still all the Christians are moving out. They not only open the front door, they open the back door even wider. So as the new Christians walk into the church from the front door, all the Christians are leaving by the scores through the back doors. Because new Christians, they do not know too much about church life, so they just come into church. But all the Christians, when they are not well taken care of and loved and cared and shared, then they would leave, being grieved. So it is one thing to give birth to new Christians. It is entirely another thing to keep the older Christian in good care. That is very important. You know, when I visit many ungrowing churches, whenever I go, I can only see the new babies. Year after year, when I go to church, I will see only new babies in the church, and the older grown children all left. That's the reason the church will never grow and always stay in the baby stage. When you have this cell unit, and when you have a strong bond of the love and fellowship, then this become kind of spiritual and social securities. Who would volunteer to go to the insecure life? People would all like to stay in security. So since cell unit becomes such a security in their spiritual life as well as social life, that they would not like to leave their cell unit. and also through the cell unit, they would be bound by the cobweb of love to the mother church. When you ask your Christian to win soul, many Christians individually are very timid. I myself am very timid. I can preach very boldly on the platform, but I was not given the gift of evangelism. So when I try to personally witness, I feel my inner soul cringed with fear. And I'm very poor personal soul winner. And when I see my cell leaders who so boldly touch neighbors and lead them to Jesus Christ, such a woman like one cell leader in our church 2 years ago had led 364 families in a year to church. And when those soul winners would come to me and bow down to me, I feel ashamed. Because that kind of lady is doing more for the growth of the body of Jesus Christ than I do. But of course, we have different gifts. I have the gift of preaching, and she has the gift of evangelism. But still yet, if they ask me to witness alone, I feel very, very much fearful in my heart. But if you band me together with Brother Evans, I can become bold. We two can go out and encourage each other and boldly witness. There's a reason Christ Jesus never asked his disciples to go alone. Christ sent them 2 by 2. There's a reason that the cell unit is very necessary to carry out soul winning in that neighborhood. Because when a single Christian would try to witness, that single Christian feel intimidated. But when 3 or 4 or 5 of them get together, and when they begin to pray together for their neighborhood and go out with tractors to touch them, they become very bold. Because Susie's mother and Brown's mother and John's father, we are all known neighbors, and we all band together to visit Mr. Kim's house. And they are not afraid to go together. They slap the back and say, Mr. Kim, we are all living in these neighbors. We know each other. And we want you to come to our fellowship. We have wonderful fellowship tonight. We have coffee, tea, cookie, even ashtray ready for you. Do never feel intimidated. Come on. We have a wonderful time together. So that person would come because all of those fellows are neighbors. Well known to him. He would never feel intimidated or awkward. So, without thinking too much, he would just come and let other people talk, and he would listen. Then he would be by and by won to Jesus Christ. So if you really ask your Christian to carry out soul winning, you should unite them by 2 or more numbers. Then they'll be encouraged to carry out soul winning effectively. And as soon as one is won to Jesus Christ, that one should be joined to the group, because we can't live alone. Fire burns when you put many firewood together. But if you just select a single firewood, then that fire will not burn too fiercely. So like that, even weaker Christian, once that Christian is joined to the group, then that weaker Christian becomes strong Christian. So as soon as one gets saved, join that one to the group. Because as soon as one gets saved, he is segregated from the older fellowship.